time to go to work. Blue collar worker, time to wake up and roll. Get that coffee in your system, get your mind and your soul. Boots by the doorway, hard hat, riding shotgun. Sun ain't even up yet, but the day's already begun. Steel toes hit the gravel, cold air fills your lungs. Another day to build it right, another job to get done. No shortcuts taken, no easy road we choose. We earn every dollar, got too much pride to lose. Get that coffee and hit the road, no delay, no slowing down. Another job, another load, we're the backbone of this town. Get to the site and get to working, hands in motion, engines turning, making America great again. With sweat and grit we're earning, breaking down the old and failing, building strength that won't give in. From the ground up, never trailing, making America great again. No desk or office space for us, no climate-controlled routine. We work in dirt, steel, and concrete, where real lives lived and seen. Using our heads, hands, and backs, every move has got a cost. Measured cuts and steady hands, no room for getting lost. Blueprints in the morning light, changing plans by noon, solving problems on the fly, getting it done real soon. Weather don't stop nothing, rain, cold, or blazing heat, we show up ready every day and stand on our own 2 feet. Get that coffee and hit the road, no delay, no slowing down. Another job, another load, we're the backbone of this town. Get to the site and get to working, hands in motion, engines turning, making America great again. With sweat and grit we're earning, breaking down the old and failing, building strength that won't give in. From the ground up, never trailing, making America great again. Building the new infrastructure to hold the future, laying down the work that time won't erase, building up again from sending rockets to housing the many, every place. From highways stretching miles and miles to homes where families grow. We don't just build for today, we build for years we'll never know. You see it when you drive by, steel going up, concrete being poured. That's us. That's blue collar, building a newer, stronger foundation, rising higher every day, building stronger, higher and better. We don't back down or fade away, making America great again. Every beam and every stone, we don't just build the country, we build a place called home. Blue collar worker, time to get up and go. Boots on the ground, let's go to work.
All right, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Let's get this show started. Give me a chat. Send me a shout out and let me know where you're going. And I've got a new microphone. Tell me how it sounds. I'm always looking to improve the presentation. And this way I can move around a little bit instead of having a big old black thing in my. All right, fellas, that's enough. I don't have to have a big old microphone in my face the whole time. All right. Let me see how we're doing. I'm sitting here trying to see if I can find some background music. There we go. I'll play that. It's barely in there. Anyway, good morning, my hard-working brothers and sisters of the Blue Collar Sunrise. This is Bubba coming to you live from this side of the coffee pot. Oh, man. Oh, hell. I left my coffee in the other room. Now I'm going to sit here and have to go the whole show without any coffee. Oh, well. I'll tell you what. Always something. This side of the coffee pot, and this side of the hard hat, and this side of another Monday morning opportunity. And somewhere beyond the digital Appalachian ridgeline, smiling through the veil of wisdom, wit, and enough mountain common sense to remind us that preparations today prevents problems tomorrow. And there sits Clariforia. She's my digital assistant, helps keep me on my toes and keeps me prepared for this Monday morning. And another Monday has arrived. This is the last Monday in July for the year 2026. Glad you can join us. Go ahead and send me a chat. Let me know where you're headed, what trade you're representing, and how your day is going so far. Make a comment. But here we are, another Monday, another chance to improve, another chance to serve, another chance to build something worthwhile. But before the first machine starts, before the first toolbox meeting, before the first load is lifted, let's get our minds right. That's what this show is all about, getting our heads in order to get things rolling. Yeah, I'm still waking up too, because around here we believe in being safe, timely, and efficient. And today's reminder comes from Built From Within over on the Nothing New channel. I was just curious here. I ain't gonna worry about it. Problem solvers build the future. I want us to think about that. Problem solvers build the future. And that's the phrase of the week. Every generation, my generation, your generation, whether you're older than me or younger than me, there's getting to be fewer and fewer of those older than me, but you young guys out there in your 20s and your 30s, problem solvers build the future, and every generation inherits problems. Every generation also has a choice. Now, we can complain about all these problems and challenges. I try not to call them problems to begin with. I try and refer to them as challenges. But we do have a choice. We can complain about them, or we can solve them. Hey, I might have to break out of here and go get me some coffee. The men and women who built this country weren't remembered because they pointed out what was wrong. Think about that. You don't get recognition for pointing out what was wrong. They're remembered because they found a way forward. Everything around us, everything, every car you drive, every pickup, every tool that you put your hand on, every roadway you drive on, every grocery store, everything that you see in front of you, touch, feel, hear, is a product of somebody's imagination. And along the way of building that truck that you're in this morning, there were challenges. How to get the brakes to work for this particular size truck. How to route the fuel line to keep it out of the way of getting damaged on a job site. Every bit of that was a challenge that somebody pointed out. And somebody went to work to solve it. There may be a situation right now in your life that you go, man, this is bad. This is not. I mean, it works, but it could be better. What can you do? Can you design a better way to do it? Can you share that information? Uh, patent a thing. How about the guy who invented the intermittent wiper blades on your automobile? He designed it and went out and presented it to these auto builders, and they said, "Nah, we ain't interested." And then they went and designed it using his idea. Now but he documented it and patented it. And he went to court and he got millions of dollars from the big manufacturers. You got to be smart, but fix it. Find out a way to make that problem, that challenge in front of you better. You do it. You can do that. I got confidence in you. Anyway, so builders are problem solvers. A crooked foundation. It could be a broken machine. It could be a delayed. I see now. Okay. I'm happy with that. That's not too shabby. A broken machine. It can be fixed. If you get a crooked foundation on a building, you got to fix that right away because you can't go up. How about, excuse me, that one in New York City up there that hell, it's about to fall apart. It's about to fall down. Them knuckleheads built that thing, and now they can't even go into the building. They got structural beams collapsing. The whole top of the building's about to come down. It's kind of crazy. But how about a delayed delivery? A difficult customer. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that we as builders, as construction guys, blue collar workers, we have to deal with. You've got steel that's supposed to go up this morning, and the delivery truck got pulled over for overweight in somewhere in another state, and they having to take part of the load off, and it's going to be midday before you get it now instead of first thing, and you've got to keep guys moving along. So how do you redirect the forces? It's all kinds of things going on. You could have a customer who's just ranting and raving and causing you difficulty. What do? You gotta, hey, look, we're doing the best we know how. bad weather. We've got some high shear winds coming through northeast Georgia and Atlanta today. You got some steel to be hung. You got guys putting on siding. What about the roofing that you got put on Saturday? Is it secured? Is it down all the way? What challenges are you facing today? The day is full of unexpected challenges. You know that. And every day presents another opportunity to solve a problem. And every problem solved makes tomorrow just a little bit better. And, the future's not built by spectators. It's built by people who are willing to roll up their sleeves, think clearly, and keep moving forward. So, as we start this week, don't ask, why is this happening? Ask, what's the right next step? Because that's what we do as builders. Problem solvers build the future. All right, there's quite a bit of information we went tumbling through there. Good morning, everybody. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stand it. I got some water. I've been up about an hour and 20 minutes or so. All right, yeah. I've got this new microphone. That way I don't have to stay right up on that. And, I spent money on these things to try and provide high quality audio, and I can pull them over and put them on, but I wanted some flexibility to move around without having to be right there on top of the microphone. And so y'all let me know how this thing sounds. Hey, listen, I post my email up here if y'all need anything. If you have a question, you need a toolbox topic, you're more than welcome to say, hey, Scott, give me a hand here, help me. I got this particular project going on, and we've got a lot of dust. We got a lot of torch burn. There's a safety thing here, and I'm not sure about what's your thoughts on it. And I'll give you my thoughts, and I'll give you some references where you can go and do your own research to ensure that everybody is safe. That's part of what I do. And well, more than anything, I want us to be leaders. I had a young man one time, several, but I don't know why Landon came to mind. He called me. He was just getting into the safety field, and he wanted to know what my thoughts were and how he could be successful at it. And I told him, I said, look, man, the most important thing that everybody needs is leadership. We need people who lead. You can learn all the technicalities and proper procedures, and you can learn all the OSHA regs and all this, and you could stand there and quote them all day long. But if you're not the kind of leader who sends these guys out with a sense of purpose, then you're just going to be a safety guy. I mean, you can be that if you want. And so he's done real well. And a couple other young men through the years I've met, been associated with. Now, I don't know if it was solely upon the association with me that they've become successful. I believe that's an inner desire. But whenever I see that, I'm always encouraging. I want you to be successful, and I want your brother to be successful, and I want your other buddy over here. I want you all to be successful. I think that's the greatest thing that I see in my life is being associated with successful people. Anyway, and I'm rambling on. All right, let's talk about, we're in construction. And I think every day we need to talk a great deal about safety, some of the challenges we've got out there in front of us. And I know I've talked about it a couple times already this year, but here we are. Y'all got to excuse me. Here we are. We are moving into July. And it's getting hot. July, I think, is probably the hottest month we have. August. In the South, I think August, for some reason, the word August sounds like fire to me. I don't know. But August, it's bearing down on us. And we've got another 30, 45 days before we get any kind of relief from this southern heat. Summer still has plenty of fight left in it. And heat illness remains one of the most predictable and preventable hazards on a construction site. Now, OSHA's message remains simple: water, rest, and shade. And we got to learn to recognize the progression of heat-related illnesses. It may start as simple as a heat rash, small red bumps, and they're caused by blocked sweat glands. If you're not staying well hydrated, and I get them on the back of my neck. It bothered me, especially after a fresh haircut. But anyway, heat cramps. The heat rash is sweat glands that get clogged with dirt and whatever, Demetrius or whatever from the job site, and from if you've got too many minerals in your body and you don't drink enough water, it clogs those, and they'll form little red bumps, and that's a heat rash. And then there's heat cramps. Heat cramps are painful, man. Whew. Painful muscle cramps caused by loss of fluids and electrolytes. So that's the next one. And then there's heat exhaustion. And some of the signs that you might see with heat exhaustion is heavy sweating, fatigue, weakness, dizziness, headache, nausea, and cool, clammy skin. Sweaty and cool, clammy skin at the same time. Sounds like me when I get out of the bed every morning, don't it? But anyway, these could be dangerous. So make sure you move the worker to a cooler location. Loosen the clothing, provide cool water if they're alert, and just allow them to rest for a short while. Maybe give them a energy ball. I don't know. Make sure they get plenty of water. You need some electrolytes in there. I used to, when I was a kid, wow, man, that's been 50 years ago. Can you believe that? We were on a mission trip way up there in Kentucky somewhere, and and it was hot like this. and we were putting insulation in the rafters of this old cabin way out in the woods. These people were still using a spring house. Hell, they didn't really even have a spring house. It was a spring box built kind of on the side of a spring where it came out of the rock. And they kept their food cold in there, milk and eggs. And we were putting insulation in there, and there was a Vietnam veteran there. I guess this was in 1977, somewhere around in there. And he gave us salt tablets. And he said, take one of these. Make sure you drink plenty of water. So he knew what he was talking about. He had been out there in the jungles on his stint in the military. So you got to have the minerals. And now, I don't know exactly, could have been some kind of crazy thing in them pills. But anyway, he did make sure we stayed well hydrated. Now, there's one final one, and that's called a heat stroke. Now, a heat stroke is a true medical emergency, and some signs could include confusion, hot skin, loss of consciousness, seizures, and high body temperature. Now, this is a medical emergency. Call 911 immediately and begin cooling, rapid cooling. Don't throw them in a bucket of ice water, but take in and pour cool water on their body, trying to get them to drink. Put cold towels on the back of their neck, or wet towels on the back of their neck, and change them out and get that body temperature down. Now, the best way to prevent heat illness is drinking water frequently, even before you're thirsty. You see me this morning, I'm going to go for about a 3-mile hike this morning after I get done with you guys. And I've already had 16 ounces of water, and there's probably another, 16 ounces or so in this bottle. And then I got another bottle in the truck. Well, actually, I got to fill my bottles up in here. So, you got to stay hydrated, and then I'll walk that 3 miles and I'll drink at least a half a bottle. And I'll be drenched in sweat. I'll be walking, and especially that first mile, that thing is uphill the whole darn way. But anyway, I'll have about a half a mile in, I'll start sweating. And 3/4 of a mile, I'm got the bandana out and I'm wiping down. And by the end of that first mile, I'm wringing that bandana out. And I wring it out several times before I get back to the truck. So I'm really sweating away there. But I've hydrated before I started. And I bet I sweat out a pint while I'm walking, maybe a cup while I'm walking. I've never measured it. I've never felt so inclined. But anyway, what that sweat is doing is cooling my body down. Now, if I hadn't had anything to drink before I started that walk, I wouldn't be sweating as much, and I could be in real trouble. So, and also, take a break in a shaded or a cooled area. And I'm not talking about a 15-minute break where you're drinking an energy drink and smoking a Marlboro or talking to your girlfriend. Just take a break, have a bottle of water, drink the bottle of water, cool down, and get back after it. And make sure you wear appropriate clothing. What I've got on here is a light nylon shirt. And I've got a cotton shirt on under here. Now, This is probably not anything I would wear in the wintertime. But this light nylon shirt and this cotton t-shirt, the cotton t-shirt will get wet, and then the water starts evaporating off of it, and it offers a cooling effect. Um, so just keep that kind of thing in mind. So you're cooling off, you're wearing a hard hat. I know, man. Whew. And then another thing to do is acclimatization. If you got a guy that's coming out of the Northeast or Oregon or Idaho, northern Idaho, coming down here into the Southeast, he's working on your job site. He's probably not used to the heat and humidity that we have here. So he needs to have some time to acclimate to his new environment. Now, I'm not suggesting that he sits in the shade all day, but he may put in an hour or two and then really needs to take a break for a little while and for the first week or so until he gets used to it. And you'll get used to it. But as long as we looking out for one another, keep an eye on you. You know the symptoms I just described to you, and when we have our Monday morning PTP meetings or our Monday morning safety meetings or our daily PTP meetings, you get to know the guys you're working with. You're joshing and joking around, and when a guy might not be feeling all that well today, so you keep an eye on him. There's and the nuances of each other, when he's had a fight with his girlfriend, all that stuff. So if he's suffering in some way, you're more likely to recognize it and act upon it. Say, hey man, let's go over here and get a bottle of water. And y'all walk over there and have some water. Anyway, sometimes your coworker notices your symptoms before you do. And you ain't got to be no tough guy. Say, yeah, you're right. I could use a little bit of water. The strongest crew is the one that watches each other's back. All right, boys and girls, y'all send me a comment. I'm going to type a comment in here. Watch out. Watch out for heat-related illnesses. Did I spell that right? Nope. All right, well, if nobody else is going to chat with me, I'm going to do my own chatting. It's 5 o'clock or 5:30 in the morning. I guess if you're up, you're already busy, or you ain't up yet. It's hard to hear me when you're dozing. You know what I need is a fresh dip. Where'd my music go? Doggone it. How's a man supposed to keep things going? I'd try to make this show as entertaining as possible. But I don't know. Uh-oh. I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm going home. Let's go here. I edit something here. And turn the loop on. Now, there we go. Now it'll just keep playing in the background. I've got this Roadcaster thing. It runs all the audio through it, so I can change things up and play some background music and connect mics to it and kind of see if I can, do a better job at presentation, because I know you got to be engaged. A guy just sitting there in a monotone form, you're not as likely to learn as much or absorb as much or pay attention as much or want to stop in and see me on Monday mornings if I'm dull and not entertaining. So that's why I try and spend a little bit of money and learn this stuff. Man, I'm learning all the time. These new mics I got, it was a couple hour learning curve. I'm sitting down here Sunday afternoon trying to figure these things out. And then they don't have one advantage. I wish they did, but I didn't do my research well enough. But anyway, here we are. My old stomach's growling this morning. Been eating too much. Had a grandson this past weekend. Turned 1 year old. Got latest edition and turned a year old already. And I got another one gonna be here in September. That'll make 5 grandchildren. I don't expect there'll be many more, if any, after that. Maybe 1 or 2, who knows? I'd take as many as they want to give me. I love them grandkids. You can bring them in and have a good time with them and send them home. Hey, time to go home, man. I love seeing you come back next week or whatever. I got one who visits fairly regularly, so I guess he and I are closest just because of our fairly regular interactions. But anyway, time to laugh it up. Let's wake up those smiles before somebody starts inspecting the coffee cup for OSHA compliance. Old superintendent asked, he said, "Hey, who did such a good job cleaning up this job site?" The whole crew looked around nervously. Nobody wanted to admit they enjoyed a clean job site. Yeah, I ain't saying nothing. That's gonna have me cleaning everything, have me dusting out of his truck. No, I ain't saying. Yeah, the apprentice proudly told the foreman, "I finally got organized." And the foreman asked him, he said, "Can you find your tape measure now?" The apprentice replied, "No, but at least I know exactly where it is." And ain't that the truth? I got one right here in the shop. I think it's a Lufkin. I don't know. It's a 33-foot tape measure, 1 inch. And I'll get out and I got 1 or 2 right around here, 4 foot, 5, little old tape measures. And let's see what I got. There it is. What we got? It's 6.5 foot Milwaukee. And I got 2 or 3 of these, but boy, you can't stretch them out like you can a 1 inch. And I keep that one around here, but doggone it, I got a place for it. I got a place on the peg wall for it. The old hanger wall. We got the little metal hanger. I got a place for it, and I know where it should be. But I'll get to using it, and dadgum, I'll leave that thing somewhere, and then I'll spend First place I do is go to where it's supposed to be, and it ain't there. I have to wander around the darn house for 20 minutes to find it. If you have that problem, send me a chat. I'm going to write that in there right now. Ever have trouble remembering where you left your tape measure? Anyway, here's one more little old joke clear for you put together. Laborer asked, "Hey, boss, what's the difference between experience and education?" The old foreman smiled. Education tells you not to touch wet paint. Experience tells you why. All right. You know, we were talking about finding a tape measure. Me finding a tape measure and a little joke. There's an old saying that's survived for generations. I believe it was my stepmom who told me this. It says, it might have been my step-grandmother, a place for everything and everything in its place. Now, that's more than housekeeping. That's professionalism. An organized job site reduces things like trips and falls, lost tools, damaged materials, wasted motion, downtime, frustration. Professional crews develop these habits. Professional crews develop habits. Anybody want to guess? All right. I'm responding to something. All right, professional crews develop habits. They put tools back after use. They keep the walkways and pathways clear. And they dispose of trash as you go. Man, you want to get on my ill side. If I'm on a job site and I see you walk by and drop a wrapper or any kind of packaging on the ground as you're walking to your task, you stop and, oh, hey, come back here. Pick up that piece of trash. If everybody did that, they'd be 5,000 pieces of trash blowing around at the end of the day. I ain't going to have it. And matter of fact, I tell you what, I'm going to get with your supervisor, and this afternoon, before we get ready to go, I'm going to ask him to volunteer a certain amount of your time for housekeeping detail, where you can go around, empty trash bag. No, you can go around, pick up trash, cigarette butt, I don't know, whatever's on the ground. That's going to be your task the last portion of your day. And if you have to take that stand, what happens is you develop, I hate to say it, a negative mindset. Man, if I throw this darned old candy wrapper on the ground, then somebody's going to have to pick it up, and it might be me. I believe I'll just stick it in my pocket and find a trash can in a little while and put it in a trash can. I think that's what I'd rather do. And I'm not saying be a, a prick or a head but why you do that. But hey, stop them, make them pick it up, and tell them why, just like I did just now, and get them thinking the way you are, and they'll start policing one another. Make it a habit. Make it a crew habit. Talk about it in your PTP meeting, in your safety meeting. That's another thing why I do this on Monday morning, to get you motivated so that you can get yourself and your guys trained up for hazards and get you thinking about it. That's why I do it on Monday morning and not on Thursday morning. Anyway, make sure you store your materials neatly. If you got cutoffs, get them picked up and stacked out of the way. You might need a piece of them cutoffs when you're doing framing or something. Make sure you label your material. Containers, I don't like that. And I used to think, what difference does it make? Well, hell, somebody put gasoline in a spray bottle, and old boy thought it was a cleaner and had a Marlboro dangling. It could be a real issue. So make sure you label your containers. Separate your usable materials from waste. You see a pile of cut off there where they're framing for footings or whatever. And they got a bunch of 1-inch pieces, they may not be used for anything, but they're piled in there with 5-foot pieces that could be used for something. So separate out your waste, usable material from waste. And what's the result of that? Safer work. That's the result. Higher productivity, less stress. Customers notice this too. If you're running a clean site, your customer sees that. Guys are doing a good job. you may be doing a good job, but it sure damn looks like a good job. That's the main thing. Hey, they can't make any predictions unless it looks like you're doing a good job. And it looks like you're doing a good job if you're keeping a well-maintained, organized, tidy workspace. And I'll tell you another one that knows me and other inspectors. When I walk onto the job site, if it's dirty and nasty, then I'm putting on, well, I can tell these guys ain't paying no attention. I'm going to find plenty things around here today. And if I come on the job site and it looks clean and well organized, I'll go, well, it's going to be an easy inspection today. These guys know what they're doing. Okay? That's the truth. I don't make the way the mind works up. Make up the way the mind works. I'm just telling you. And organization says, hey, we care. A clean, organized job site reflects an organized mind. And organized minds solve problems faster. That's the truth. All right, we're ticking on down here, and I need to change some things in this, but I'm not going to do it right now. Hey, listen, guys, this week, we've talked about it a little bit this morning, but this week on the channel, which is right there, we'll be talking about I think we're in video number 10 on a 12-part series on PPE. And we had a 12-part series on fall protection. The reason I'm doing these in breakdown portions is when you add it up in total, it satisfies the hour and a half that would be required for an OSHA 10 course. So if you watch these videos, you'll get, the information required that you would get in a 10-hour OSHA. Now you say, well, I'll just take the 10-hour OSHA. Well, that's true. But I've also broken them down into little bite-sized pieces where they could be used as a toolbox safety topic. And I always include the script in the description so that you can copy, paste, and present it to your crew on your job site. Or if you have a job site where you have a place where you come in and sit down with a TV, you can spool up YouTube and show me. I don't care. I'm doing it because I want to see you safe. And if you can use me to make sure that happens on your job site, you win, I win. Your crew wins. It's all win, win, win. But anyway, this week we're going to be talking about PPE inspection, care, and replacement. It's a continuation of the PPE series. Every piece of PPE has one job: to protect you. But PPE can only protect you if it's in serviceable condition. So in this week's episode, we'll talk about daily inspections, manufacturer's recommendation. How long is a hard hat good for? No, there's a manufacturing date stamped on a hard hat. I wish I had a hard hat right now. I'd show you. There's a little round stamp with a couple arrows in it, and it's normally stamped under the brim, somewhere under the underside, or wherever it shows when that unit has been manufactured. Now, if it's put into inventory and it stays in the inventory for 3 years, and you bring it out and it's brand new and it hadn't been exposed to sun or the environment anyway, it's probably good for another 5 years. But if you got your hard hat 5 years ago and it's got cracks and scratches and it's been in the sun for 5 years on your head and rode around in pickup trucks, in the back of pickup trucks and toolboxes, it may not be as good as it used to be. It might be time, and I've got a couple of them around here. Well, they're not in here. I need to I got a spot right there. I might put a couple hard hats in there. They're covered with the stickers, job site stickers. And I've had to retire them. And that's what you should be thinking too. I know, look like, well, you're a rookie, get you a new hard hat. Yeah, that's what I got. Got me a new hard hat. I can go to sticker up another one. Would you rather have one hard hat covered in stickers when you retire? Some of them covering up other ones and just stuck on there and you only get to see your most recent jobs? Or would you rather have 2, 3, 4 hard hats all covered in stickers? Which is a louder statement in your home monument to yourself are the things. Everything in this wall behind me and all this stuff is something that somebody gave me found on a job site, something that people say, hey, this is you. I got this for you. Some of it is just stuff that have accumulated over the years I thought was cool, and that's what it's for. That's why I have it. And I'm sure you got your I got another I got collections all over the place. It's all junk. It's something for the kids to do when I'm gone. they can clean it up. Cuss me the whole time. I can come him an old junk collector. He didn't have to hoard everything. But anyway, back to PPE. We need to do our daily inspections. When you put on that fall protection, you need to check it. You need to check that webbing. You need to check those connections. You need to check everything. What are the manufacturer's recommendations? I know hard hats, a lot of them say 5 years. How about cleaning and storage? Your respirator, you just take it off and throw it in the back of the truck, or do you clean it up and check the filters and check the valves and put it in a bag and place it in a place where it won't get crushed and deformed? Some things require replacement schedules. If you're a torch burner and you have a half-face respirator, it's got a 2-stage filter on it, a HEPA and an organic more than likely. And those things are only good for a while. Before you know it, you can't hardly breathe out of it. And then you move it to one side or loosen something so you can get some air. But the hell, you're breathing in all the chemicals and the fumes from the torching operation. So know what those replacement schedules are. Know the signs of wear and damage on your equipment, from as simple as your footwear, your gloves, hard hats, safety glasses. Are they scratched? How about your hearing protection? They all gummed up and gooey, them plugs, and you need a new pair. Them things is cheap. Boy, get you a new set of earplugs. High visibility garments. I got one I've washed 2 or 3 times upstairs in the closet. I just keep it for a backup. But you could tell that thing's been in the sun. It's done about bleached white. And I guess the reflective, it's still high vis, but I kind of retired it. And I keep 2 or 3 of them under the seat of my pickup truck, different company logos. I don't want to wear company Y logo on a company X project, but yeah. And what to do with the PPE? It should never remain in service. I've seen these old bumming thieves that come in and steal your copper when you're not on the job site. And most of the time, they just wearing old shitty stuff. They found in the dumpster, oh boy, this thing ain't no good no more. Throw his hard hat away or his safety vest, and them guys scramble around and they'll wear it and make them look like they belong there. Hey man, what? It's 5:30 in the morning, you're on the job site, and he's coming out with a big old shopping cart full of copper. He says, yeah, man, the boss man told me to come here and pick this stuff. I'm looking at him like, what the hell are you talking about, man? I am the boss man. Yeah, you remember yesterday you told me. I said, get the hell out. And tell him to get out. And they'll just start pushing the buggy. I said, leave the buggy. And they go, that's my buggy. I said, well, then dump it out and push your buggy on hell on up out of here. Now, I'm not suggesting you behave like that. It could be dangerous. But anyway, remember, PPE isn't an ornament. It isn't a decoration. It isn't something we wear to satisfy some rule. It's life-saving equipment. Inspect it, care for it, replace it when necessary, because your future may depend on equipment you inspect in only a few seconds today. All right. Whoa, it's getting time. Well, friends, the old sun ought to be coming up 5 minutes till 6. I've enjoyed sitting here and rambling around with my new microphone. I appreciate it. If you catch this on the rerun, please don't hesitate to say howdy. That thing runs way up here in my darn pocket. Don't hesitate to say howdy. I do appreciate you watching this morning. I've enjoyed myself sitting here. Eventually, we'll have people coming in and interacting with me on a daily basis. But the sun is climbing up. The trucks are arriving, picking up the guys, stopping by the shop, picking up the tools, going to the supply house, getting whatever material you may need. Everything from lumber to saw blades to PPE. Today also marks another week of opportunity. Today also, we're going to talk about the PPE. We've talked about all kinds of PPE in our PPE. We've talked about head protection, eye protection, face protection, hearing protection over the past few weeks, hand protection, foot protection, respiratory protection. Today we talked about high visibility clothing. That was last week. And this week we talked about inspection, care, and replacement. Different equipment, one purpose. Helping every worker go home safely. Now remember this week's lesson that problem solvers build the future. When you go show up on the job site and it gets challenging, don't go, man, we can't do nothing. Ain't nothing right. I don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. And go, oh, shoot, man, this is how we going to fix this? Let's get together and figure out how we're going to do it. Do it safe, timely, and efficient, but we're going to figure out a solution. Take pride in your work. That's real important for you to take pride in your work. Inspect your PPE. Stay organized. Keep your workplace and your tools and everything else organized. Watch this heat now. Boys and girls, it's hot, humid, and look after your co-workers. Because the greatest builders don't simply construct buildings. They build trust. They build teams. They build safer workplaces. All right, from me to you on Monday morning, and from the Everwatcher, Pluriforia, where is she? Right over there. Ever-watchful Pluriforia, smiling quietly from somewhere beyond the digital Appalachian Mountains. Thank you for making us a part of your Monday morning. As you move through the day, remember, be safe, timely, and efficient. Now, let's go build something worthwhile. Have a wonderful week, everybody. And most importantly, have a grateful day. Have a grateful week. And we'll see you next time.